lot of what we are right now is a community services district. As I understand it from SB 135, we're actually an independent services district, not necessarily a community services district. So a lot of what LAFCO is really supposed to help us with is how we actually run the community services district and how we actually grow into cityhood as we begin to get more households into Mountain House and businesses.
Thank you. M.L. Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you. My experience with LAFCO has been, on one end, working with the county government that was going to lose revenues because an unincorporated area was going to become a city. And so we actually worked, this was in Santa Barbara County, we actually worked with the area that was intending to become a city. This was in Santa Barbara County, but it was the city that is now known as Goleta. And we worked very diligently with representatives from the unincorporated area to determine whether or not it was feasible, because the county would be losing revenues that they didn't want to lose, and the city wasn't able to handle itself on its own. So the importance of that unification was necessary and needed. There's a lot more about LAFCO that I can't do in 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Next question, Tim McDonald. What is more important, making decisions that make residents happy, or doing what is right for Mountain House?
Well, I guess that's a tough question to answer. A lot of people want a lot of things, and some of them might be good for the community, some of them might not. I think there's a lot of solutions. You can sit down, talk with people, find out what they want, what they need, and come to a mutual agreement between the two that makes everyone happy. Sometimes you might come up with a solution for something and it's not the right solution. And so you need to revisit that and see if you can make a change so the town benefits and the citizens are happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Cheryl Bernard Shaw.
I guess the question was, what is more important, making decisions that make the residents happy or doing what's right for Mountain House? And I believe that we have to have a long-term vision for our community, a long-term plan for our community. And making a decision for expediency's sake or what's convenient or what might be the quickest resolution to an issue sometimes might not get us the biggest bang for our buck long-term. I think this is a young community. We've got a lot of growth that we're looking forward to. We've got a lot of issues that this community is facing. And as a result of that, we need to make our decisions in a considered and thoughtful, planned way. Not looking at any one constituent, but looking at the long term and what's best for the community overall. So I think what would make residents happy for the long term is if this community grows and the housing values improve and the services that we were promised when we came here are actually brought to fruition. And as a result of that, I think long term that will make the residents happy. So sometimes residents might be unhappy with a short term decision. They may be unhappy with a solution as we see what might be right and proper for the community long term. But we have to take the long term view, and we have to strive for making the best decisions long term for the community at large.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get my card straight. It's a rebuttal.
Rebuttal, Andy Sue.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Fred, could you just repeat the question again real fast?
What is more important, making decisions that make residents happy or doing what is right for Mountain House?
Okay, thank you again for the question. I think what is, of the two choices, I think both of them are important. As a board, we will be constantly challenged to balance those two, to please people, but to also do what's right. And you're never going to please everybody, and you're not always going to do the right thing, but I think you constantly strive to do both.
The next question is for Doug Stevens. How do you plan to be an advocate for the special interests of Mountain House at the county level?
Well, I know that the board of directors actually sets policy for the Mountain House Community Services District and also evaluates how closely those policies are followed. And the board also evaluates, hires, fires, evaluates the general manager. In terms of the board's official duties, working with the county would be outside of those official duties. However, I think that we can have a relationship with the county supervisors and with Leroy and perhaps ask advice, maybe ask how we can get a particular thing done, that sort of thing.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Matthew Balzarini.
Well, as far as advocating for special interests in Mountain House, we need to create relationships and foster them. I've been on the school board for the last 3 years. This year I was the president, and I'm extremely active in dealing with everyone we come in contact with, from the local level to developers to the state level. We would need to do the exact same thing. Create relationships with the county, create relationships with the developers, create relationships with the state, and make ourselves visible, communicate, and bring ideas back to the entire board, deal with the community, get input from the community, and take that information back and forth. We have to fight for what we want. If we just sit idle, no one's going to even notice us on the map. We need to be aggressive in getting what we need for our residents.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Eric Payne.
Being an advocate for special interests in Mountain House, first and foremost, it's important that we truly understand the pulse of the community. Without that, we really have nothing. We understand from the community what they want us to present to the county. Then and only then it's important, as Matt said, to leverage the relationships we have with the county and our special interest groups or whomever we need to utilize in order to present a package to the county that is concise but gets our point across.
Thank you.
Next question, Michael Klinkner. How can the MHCSD utilize partnerships to enhance economic development programs that will attract businesses and skilled labor to our community?
Well, I think one of the ways of doing that is working with the county on that, with the Board of Supervisors. If we get businesses that want to come into Mountain House, I certainly would want to advocate giving them a temporary tax relief when moving into Mountain House as an incentive. We can also have a citizens committee to try and look at how we can bring businesses in, come up with some ideas. Now, we have no direct control with developers, but we certainly can assist them a little bit.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Jim Lamb.
The CSD, I've been reading about special districts recently, and most special districts have very little, if anything, to do with economic development. Those things are usually handled by a chamber of commerce or a similar organization. But there are going to be places where we can get synergies. For instance, Delta College, as you may have noticed, is putting in their blacktop coming up in a couple of weeks here, and we're going to have some trailers and some classes starting next year. I think that would be a great place to start with making Mountain House more attractive to business. Delta College, we have a Parks and Recs district or part of the Community Service District. We can probably leverage a relationship with Delta College, which would help bring in things they call